Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Welcome, everybody.
We made it, Mike.
To a Friday edition of the Detroit Cast. I apologize for those who are tuning in to hear the retard and asshole show. We'll have to wait a little longer for that.
That's right.
Yes, Jay is here. I am here. Big E is here. Mickey is here.
We tempted fate and we won.
We did. Congratulations, my friend. What
too,
a
sir.
day
Indeed.
for the Detroit Cast today. Holy shit.
I mean, that was 12 hours ago, and I still am on this weird, anxious kind of high thing.
Yeah. That was nuts. For those that don't know, we were basically thrown out of an airplane today.
So I was going to say, don't say we jumped, because we
Yeah.
basically reluctantly rolled forward.
Yeah. We
Going,
were.
fuck!
I never thought I'd be so excited to have a man clutching onto my back.
I wanted him closer to me.
I
I desperately
he could have
wanted him
inserted. He literally could have inserted it. It would have been like, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a good connection. Right
Yeah.
there, yeah.
I've never felt more comfortable in another man's arms in all my life.
I agree with you, man. I wanted him to cinch that thing as close as possible.
Dude, it
And
was, yeah. We jumped out of a plane with the Red Bull Air Force team this morning. Jay and I did over the city of Detroit, landing on Belle Isle.
12,000 feet.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to say where we were landing. That's why we were saying just over the city of Detroit. But yeah, we landed in the middle of the racetrack for the GRC this weekend, and it was fucking incredible. It was utterly incredible. It's the craziest feeling in the world.
It's hard to describe other than to just say, wow, it's unreal. And if you've watched, my video, which was on my chest cam, I mean, I think over and over, I'm just like, unbelievable, unreal. Yeah. It's until you do it, man. It's
such a weird feeling. And my guy was fucking with me.
Oh yeah,
dude.
You had Sean McCormick.
Yeah.
I had Andy Farrington.
Yeah.
These two dudes are like total all-stars in this Red Bull
world
Air
champions,
Force.
Travel the world, jumping, doing the squirrel out. When you see the Red Bull videos, these guys are part of the 8-man team.
Yeah, along with John DeVore, who was filming, which he'll talk about in a second. He was on his own, just filming you.
Holy shit.
Yeah, total studs. These guys have been, it's like a walk in the park for them to do. Oh yeah, just a tandem jump. They've done 16,000 of these things, just ridiculous numbers, ridiculous heights.
Yeah.
So we were really, really fortunate to have like the best in the world.
Yeah. Literally the best in the world.
Yeah.
Take us up there, but they're so relaxed.
Yeah.
Jay and I, and if you look at the video, you can tell by the look on Jay's face when we're in the plane going up.
I will not bullshit in any way. I was very terrified at points of this.
Yeah. It was scary. I was cool for the most part, but there's no doubt as it got closer, it was like, we're up in the air now.
This is absolutely going to happen. And so you're just picturing that moment when, the guy described for me, sit on the edge, just like you're sitting on a bench, have your feet hanging out of the plane.
Yeah.
And then we'll roll forward and then, just push your hips back and your legs back and we'll free fall.
And I didn't do any of that. As soon as we hit the air, it was like I completely forgot everything he said to do. He was very adamant about leaning back and getting your head back.
Yeah.
And it was just and he was like, so I'm going to give you this hand signal when we're going. I'll flash 3 left hands at you. And that means to put your hands in the straps and tilt your head back and this and that. I never even saw his hand. And he said, once we get down a little while, I'll flash you my right hand. And that means I want you to reach back. You're going to feel like a golf ball, and I want you to yank it, and that's your parachute. Never saw the hand. I go,
you didn't even think to pull it.
No. I go, well, what happens if I don't? He's like, well, then I will. But I'm just saying. I mean, but it was like, dude, I remembered nothing as far as instruction go. I apologized to him when I got on the ground. I'm like, dude, I don't think I did anything.
I'm sure it happens all the time.
Yeah, he's like, you were fine.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Well, we're in the plane, and my guy like strapped me to him sort of like right away. As soon as we got in, he sat at the back of the plane and
the front of the plane.
The front of the plane. And I got in and kind of sat in the position we would be to fall out of the plane. And he kind of clipped to me a little bit, which made me a little comfortable. It wasn't fully clipped in.
Yeah.
But I was clipped enough to him where if something went wrong, you know, at least he's on me.
He has a parachute.
And he's got a parachute. And then Jay gets in, and his guy sits on one bench on one side of the plane, and Jay sits on the other side of the plane, and they're just sitting there, and all of a sudden we're going and we're climbing.
And I'm the only one in this plane without any sort of life-saving device.
There's no parachute on Jay, and these guys are just kind of sitting there, and there's just a roll-up door that's completely see-through.
You know what I liken it to? I liken it to a bunch of dudes who all the time go wakeboarding or water skiing. It's just, yeah, they're in the boat, they're headed out, and okay, now it's time to ski. Like that's kind of the attitude they have. Like, just kind of bored. Here we are heading out.
Yeah,
and totally relaxed. Just the dude's just sitting next to that open window.
But we're sitting there. We've been on plenty of planes in our lives. And you're always belted in for the takeoff, and you're always like, put your trays forward and your seat backs up and make sure your belt is cinched. And these guys are just like, just kind of pile in whatever. And you're just like, okay. And then the door opens, and Jay still isn't clipped to this guy. And the fucking side door is open, and Jay's kind of like walking over. And I'm like, if this plane hits some turbulence here, Jay's
I'm going out the window. But here's your point is true. The guy would have jumped out after me.
Oh yeah, he would.
And he would have caught me and clipped me.
Yeah, you're right.
No question in my mind, he would have.
Yeah, you would have had a heart attack and died before before he saved you. But he would have. He would have carried your dead body down to the ground. But yeah, then he clipped you in, and I'm sitting here, and I wanted to go first. I wanted to like, okay, let me just get out of this thing. And so I figure I'm going to get a good view of Jay, and Jay just kind of slides up the thing, and they're just like, yeah, tilt the plane 5 degrees. And they're, doing their thing. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is really happening. And Jay just kind of settles up, and then his legs are dangling out the plane. And I'm just like, oh my God, dude. And you didn't get to see this. I got to see this, but you didn't. And I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I can see Jay go out and just see kind of what this looks like. You go out the plane and you're gone. In an instant, you are gone. There's no visual at all. Like, I don't hear you. I don't see you scream. So when I watch the video and you're like, ah! I heard none of that, and I saw none. It's like you realize, like, we're traveling at hundreds of miles an hour, and you just dropped out.
Yeah.
And you're just poof.
Wow.
And then it was like, okay, my turn. And
then you didn't have to dangle your legs though. You had on one knee, you said?
Yeah, I'm shorter than you by quite a bit. So that's probably what it is, because you got to kind of get down. So they had you dangle your legs, but me, I was supposed to just kind of walk, and crouch. But with my knees and ankles, it's like, he's like, just get on a knee, man. And so I got on a knee, and then he's just like, 1 and a 2, and boom, out you go, and you're gone. And the video guy is still in this plane, which is
John.
John, yeah. And then at some point, I'm screaming as I'm going down there, free fall. It's amazing. And all of a sudden, this dude just comes flying up, and he's right in my face with a video camera. He's like high-fiving me, and he starts spinning me around, and I'm just like, this is insane. And then all of a sudden, he's gone. And I look down, and I'm like, is that Jay down there? And he's like, yep, that's Jay. And then I see this dude whip past you.
Yeah.
And he's past Jay now. He was the last one out of the plane and the first one on the ground.
Yeah, he wanted to get down there to film us as we came in.
Yeah. I mean, it shows
Incredible.
You like how unbelievable they are.
Yeah.
It's
to be able to manipulate, where they are and their speed and stuff.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But here's how I would describe it, man. If nobody's ever done it, or if a lot of you out there haven't, some of you have, I'm sure. And what I would say is it's like this moment of real terror as you're sitting there on the edge. Like, you're thinking, like, in a moment, I may very well die.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not reasonable. You're not going to very well, but you may die in this moment. Yeah. And like this natural instinct to grab the sides and not go kicks in, but you're like, no, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
And you roll out, and then it in an instant becomes the most exhilarating thing you've ever experienced.
Yeah. I had the exact same feeling. Like, as soon as you went out of the plane, there's like, I don't know, a 15th of a second where it's like, and then as soon as you hit it, it's like, oh my God, this rules.
Yes.
And you're just hauling ass. And it's the
For me, it was when I realized the guy is still clipped to me.
yeah,
Like I was
totally.
in total trust to this guy.
Yeah.
Like just keep me next to this guy, I'll be fine.
Yeah, it's so weird how that works, but that thing that humans just have. I know Beth was terrified, Gab was terrified, and the reality of it was it's like going swimming in the ocean and worried about a shark attack. It's such a rarity, and these guys are so good at what they do. There was literally almost no chance of anything happening to us, but you can't help but have that feeling like every instinct in your body tells you not to jump out of a moving plane. It just does. Plus, it's like being on an actual airplane, and you can't help. Everybody that sits down goes, I hope this isn't the one that's going to end up on the news.
Yeah.
Like there's no walking away from that. So the stakes seem higher, even though it's really unreasonable to think that something's going to happen. You can't help. So that terror feeling, seeing you with your legs dangling out of that plane, it was just like, oh God.
But it's that natural mix of emotion though that I think does it for you. It's like that terror, that you're trying to suppress.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be fun, and then it is fun. It's just amazing, man.
Yeah. But the whole time when we're going up, as soon as the guy, John, that was filming us and kind of directing the pilot, as soon as he opens the door, it's just like a rolling door, garage door.
Yeah.
And it's totally see-through. It's just clear. As soon as he rolls it up, my guy goes, ah, and grabs me by both shoulders. Fuck, dude.
He was fucking with you the whole time.
I go, I don't think, are these straps tight enough? And he's like, I don't know, man. And he just whips them right off my shoulders. I'm like, dude, really? He's like, yeah, I don't think those are tight enough. I don't know, man. Well, fingers crossed kind of attitude.
Yeah.
They were having a ball fucking with us, but man, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you to Red Bull. Unbelievable.
Yeah. What an experience. So hopefully Gab doesn't kill us. Hopefully Beth doesn't kill us, but that was awesome. Did you get a little street cred with the boys, you think?
Yeah, they were pretty impressed.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of time to talk it over with Manny, but he was like, yeah, it's awesome. You did it,
Yeah. And make sure you check out the video. There's more video coming. We haven't gotten it back, but Red Bull filmed it as well. But Jay's video is awesome. I love your video. Your natural reaction as you fall out of that plane is just 5-star. So it's on Facebook, on the Detroit Cast Facebook page. Pretty raw. It's like 8 minutes long of us kind of sitting in the plane and then Jay's trip down. And I think it ends with me landing.
Yeah. Yep.
And E came out with us too. That was cool having E there.
Yeah, E walks up and scratches his balls at the end, I think.
Yeah, so I hear. So if you want to see it, you can go to the Detroit Cast Facebook page. We will have it up at some point here. We just kind of dealing with it all right now. We should have that up on our website as well. And we will have more video coming. So thanks again to Red Bull, and hopefully we'll see some people out at the race this weekend.
Yeah, get out there. It looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, the track is being set up. We got to fly right into it. It was very cool. Anyway, dare I say a big show for a Friday. We made it to Friday again. So we got a lot to talk about. A tranny was beaten to death.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. Also, we got a snake house for E.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot his love for the serpent.
We've got a butt dial trial that happened. Have you ever done that? Ass dialed someone? I think everybody's kind of.
I probably have. Nobody's ever pointed it out to me, but yeah, I've definitely got them from people, and I've definitely sat there and listened, depending on who it is.
It does seem like phones now, because they all have locks now. It happens a lot less. It has to be the right circuit. But remember when you didn't have touchscreen phones?
Yeah,
they would happen all the time. You know what I mean?
Yep. We've got a Disney doll causing some outrage. Of course, everything causes outrage nowadays. More on the Cincinnati cop. More on the diner chick that yelled at the baby.
Yes.
Yelled at the 2-year-old, I guess. And but we should start with the Sandra Bland story, which we've talked about the last few days. She, of course, is the girl that was arrested. And you guys took issue with that video a lot. Thought the cop was really kind of being a dick.
Yeah.
And
a little more than he had to be.
Yeah. And she died in jail. And there's been outrage, of course, because there's a whole group that thinks that she was murdered in jail by cops.
Cops want to kill everybody.
Right. And so they got the autopsy back on her, and her wrist was covered in 30 cuts that were at least 2 weeks old. Her body contained evidence of a large amount of pot in her system. Results from the autopsy were released today by the district attorney's office and said there were no signs her death was anything but a suicide, which is what I think everyone in this room felt like that.
Has there been any indication that the family is switching gears then and jumping on that?
I haven't seen anything yet. They're sticking true. And I've already heard other people, even law enforcement people. Now, the guy I saw was a black guy. I don't know if that matters, but he was like, oh, no, this stinks. This still stinks. And I'm like, really? This guy's a cop?
That they didn't do more because she
that
self-reported?
something happened in that cell.
Oh,
that
really?
was murder. Yeah. And I'm like, really? People are jumping to the murder? That people snuck in there and murdered her? Like, where you realize you do need some sort of evidence if you're going to try to prosecute someone, or like there's nothing that points to that. And
you realize that in large part, cops are just regular guys who are going to work, who want to go home and do their family stuff and all that.
Yeah.
It's not like these people creeping around trying to
murder people.
Yeah.
Over because someone disrespected them at a traffic stop. It's asinine. Supporters have claimed that she would have never killed herself, of course, which anybody would say for the most part. There were
Goocher.
My God.
What happens?
The Goocher.
I can't believe you let me touch that.
Oh no,
That's I mean,
Sweet Pies.
I know.
Sweet Pie's My Little Pony just fell off the ledge.
Oh,
My
no.
God.
Is how adorable is that? Sweet Pie gave Jay a My Little Pony doll to remember her by when he's here.
Yeah.
So we have her little My Little Pony.
I got to
there.
show it to her on YouTube.
That's
I like
awesome.
The purple hair.
And then he just disrespects it and throws it down on the
I
ground.
didn't do anything.
You did.
No, he didn't. I wasn't even close to it. I was 5 feet away.
It looked like you reached for it and knocked it down. I would say on purpose.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to take you to court over it. I'm just saying that's what it looked like to me.
I mean,
Simple
you took
apology.
Yeah. I mean, I forgive you for that, E.
I
for
wasn't
disrespecting
I wasn't
Jay and
within
Sweet Pie.
3
but-
feet of it.
Well,
Maybe 3. 2 feet for sure. I wasn't within 2 feet.
yeah,
Of it.
enough to knock it over. However close that is. Just trying to do it
Hey,
again.
don't spit on it.
Try to blow it
Damn.
over.
There were no marks on her hands, which could have come from an attempt to fight off any attacker. So when they do these autopsies, they're and they say there's no signs of foul play. What they're doing is checking
Like under her fingernails and stuff like that.
anything like that. Plus, they say usually with if it was a strangulation, you'd have some broken bones, you'd have broken blood vessels. Inside the body, you'd have stuff going on, stress related. And
Wasn't it a strangulation though? Essentially,
but if it was at the hands of
asphyxiation.
someone
Gotcha.
else, you would have that. But there was nothing along those lines. It was all like, I mean, unless
somebody took the garbage bag and
slowly walked up
Yeah.
and hung her.
tourniquet style.
Yeah, but even then, you'd have some sort of reaction,
Yeah.
and then stress put on the body that would lead to broken blood vessels, and so they said she only had a single wound on her neck, which apparently came from the plastic bag. Apparently, really, I would assume that's exactly what it was. A violent involuntary attack would lead to more wounds on the neck, including broken bones. Said there were no marks on her eyelids, lips, or face, which would usually be the result of an attack. Forensics experts found about 30 scabbing marks on her arms, like someone cutting their wrists, maybe. Now, they said that there's some of that could be from handcuffs if she was fighting in handcuffs, but they said some of those were weeks old, long before she was ever put in custody. So, and the other thing they're questioning is the marijuana in her system. They said she either took some in jail or took a shitload before, because 3 days later, when these tox things were done, that a lot of this would have been out of her system, and there was such a high level of it that she either swallowed or smoked a shitload before this all went down, or had some in jail.
Doesn't that shit stay in your system for 30 days, Mick?
It depends on how much you weigh, because it's not like fat soluble. So like for me, it lasts a long time. But like
if you were to do that,
if I were allegedly
Right.
or whatever, a fit guy though could get it out in like 2 days.
oh wow,
No problem.
Her death was originally ruled a suicide, although officials said they are handling it as a murder probe, which sounds
jeez,
and I see that in all the reports. Like they're all focused in on what the DA said at the time, who was like, it wouldn't be the DA. would it be the DA? Maybe.
Yeah.
Who was saying that we will handle this as a murder, but that's protocol. That any case like that, they'll keep their mind open to anything.
Okay.
So that's just like policy for them. So it's not like this is some special case. But I notice everybody's pointing to that, and they're taking that clip and putting it up on TV and going, they're handling it as a murder case.
Something there.
Yeah, as if exactly trying to go for a headline, but it's like, yeah, this is what if you let the clip play a little longer, you'd see the guy go,
That's procedure.
which is procedure in any instance of a jail suicide. You know, that's just how these things are investigated, and this is no different. We'll investigate it the same way as if it were a potential murder. So, anyway, yeah, they think the DA's theory is that she possibly committed suicide because after 3 days of being in there and nobody bailing her out.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That she made several contacts with family members and nobody cared to come get her.
Yeah.
$500, right?
Yeah. $5,000 bond, but 10%.
Yeah.
So it would have cost $500 to get her out. She did leave some messages for friends. One of them I heard, and it was just like, hey, it's me. I'm still in here. I can't believe all of this over a failure to do my signal. It's like, okay, you are not sitting in jail because you didn't turn your blinker on. That's not. Now we can argue about whether you deserve to belong there at all, but the reason you're there is because of, you know, the cop charged you with felony, a felony attack on a law
assault.
enforcement officer.
Yeah.
You know, claiming that she kicked him, and that's what that was about. That's why she was thrown in jail with a $5,000 bond. Had nothing to do with the traffic signal.
It's the shit that went down after.
Right.
Like you say, it's arguable whether that was cool or not. But
yeah, and most law enforcement are saying that it was most things in that were very unlawful. That he didn't have a right to arrest her, to put her under arrest. He was an asshole to her when she threw a little shit his way. That he should have been a pro and handled that much better. I mean, basically what you saw in the video. So, you know. Anyway, but I'm sure it won't matter. People have made their minds up that this is a murder. So,
yeah, and it's one of those things that'll, you know, you can never totally prove, right? So it'll just go down in the sort of martyrdom category. And
you'll see her name on all the signs when people are marching saying, you know, add it to the list.
Yeah.
Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland,
Freddie
Gray, you know, anybody that's who's the local girl. Here,
oh yeah,
they all throw in there, which is bullshit. She was not
the one that wandered up on the porch drunk.
Yep.
Hey, starting right now and running through Friday, July 31st, you can save an additional $500 on every pre-owned vehicle at Zott Ford in Holly. It's super simple. Go to ZottFord.com, search our pre-owned inventory, select the vehicle you want to buy, subtract $500 off the already low internet price, and that's exactly what you pay. This is only for TDC family, and this is only good until Friday, July 31st. If you snooze, you lose.
Remember the diner, our friend Neugbauer?
Oh, absolutely. The owner that just after how long of this
40 minutes
of this little kid whining about pancakes. Like,
yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
The parents, oh my God. Someone raised their voice
She's
to our
deranged.
child. She's
Who would
deranged.
do that unless they're deranged? That idiot.
So you have like two people, the spectrum, you know, there's the parents who are very, very coddling and caring of their child and probably never discipline at all.
Yeah,
other
clearly.
than to just reason with the child who's 2 or something.
Yeah,
and
21 months, I think.
Yeah, and then you've got this other side of the spectrum, this lady who's just had it, right?
Yeah.
And no problem yelling at a 21-month-old.
That screams someone who doesn't have children. To me, you know, the owner of Marcy's Diner. Is it Marcy's or Darcy's? I think it's Marcy's. Anyway, she's the one that's come under all this fire for yelling at a child. And she's not backing down at all. She again refused to apologize for yelling at this the daughter of Tara Carson, who's a New York City marketing professional who posted about her side of the story in a Washington Post rebuttal. Who knew calling out shitty parenting made you a bully?
Wow.
Awesome.
That's her quote. My diner, my rules. All caps.
Nice.
The only thing I am sorry for is that child has to grow up with such terrible parents. Just feel sorry the child has such terrible parents. The local health authorities have also inserted themselves into this because someone from out of state started posting, I think she spit in her food.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And so they're taking that with a grain of salt. But they also point to her impeccable health records.
Mm.
So they're like, it's probably bullshit seeing as it was out of state and all
Yeah.
this. But they acknowledge, though, that, they don't, they probably won't look too far into that. So she spoke out. Carson did yesterday. I'll never forget the look of fear on my baby's face. The look of fear.
Fear.
Someone said,
shut it.
Someone actually disciplined the child.
right.
It's probably bewilderment. Like, what? What's going on?
Wow. I
Somebody's telling
thought I
me
could
what
just
to
do whatever I wanted whenever I wanted.
Yeah.
She
Being raised by wolves here. Leave me alone.
Right.
telling her side of the story and her version of events.
Oh,
She
boy.
says that Neugbauer could have come over politely and told us our baby was disruptive.
Do you need do you need someone to let you know your baby's disrupted? You know it. Everyone knows
You
it.
would think.
There's no way you were sitting there going, this is okay.
Yeah. She said she should not have thrown things or yelled or cursed. She was throwing
Yeah.
forks at your baby.
Right.
No. Babies cry, and sometimes as parents, we sometimes rely on the kindness and empathy of strangers to point out if they're annoyed. Are you shitting me, lady? She also criticized the diner owner's nasty, profanity-laden Facebook post in which she referred to the toddler as a beast, and a rotten child.
Dude.
I love this lady.
Just think of how these two sides have dug in on this issue. Like, wouldn't you think like one of the sides would just be way too busy? Probably the parents to even like you'd originally post something like, I'm upset that this happened, but you're still doing it several days later. Like,
Yeah.
don't you have anything else to do? Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna try to take down this diner because the lady yelled at you?
Yeah.
Just relax.
There you see Tara Carson's with the rainbow icon on her Facebook page.
Of course.
And that's when I think we read this the other day. I had the worst experience at this establishment. The owner is an absolute lunatic and screamed in the face of my almost 2-year-old child because she was crying. Who in their right mind would behave like this unless they're deranged? So that woman, that customer posted that to Marcy's Diner,
Yeah.
figuring that would be the end of it. I'll be a cunty response on Marcy's Diner. And that's where it blew up in her face because the owner of Marcy's Diner was like, fuck you, lady.
I know, dude. It's so rare nowadays, right? Nowadays.
Yeah.
In this world of PC bullshit, to see somebody just go, fuck off. My
Yeah.
diner.
Especially
Yeah.
because it's not like it's a big corporation. I mean, she has a lot to lose.
She does. Every customer matters for her.
Yeah.
And she's really taking a stance.
It's not the big the machine, if you will. It's not like a Denny's.
She's not going to be subsidized by corporate.
Yeah.
She's got to stand on her own 2 feet.
And good for her.
Although that also gives her the freedom to do this and not have corporate come in and say, no.
Most of the things that I've read, people are supporting the diner in this. Like there's a ton of people that are way more have the same attitude you did and we did, that no, you don't let your kid run the show somewhere
Yeah.
like that. It's really fucking irritating to regular people just trying to enjoy breakfast.
I think that's a growing sentiment out there, even amongst parents. Like, come on, control your kids, or
Yeah.
be involved in disciplining and parenting. And it's not for all of us to enjoy
Yeah.
your loudmouth kid, but take
Yeah.
some action here.
And as we talked about the other day, Leonard Nimoy told us early on with his Dr. Spock book that you take that kid outside, you just shake the shit out of it, and you don't stop shaking it.
Is that where you got that from?
Yeah, Dr. Spock's book.
What
It's
did
a
he
great read.
What did he say?
But he says the key is the only way this works
Shit.
is if you start really early. You want to get the kid as early as possible so you break them in. So when they're, I don't know,
Very
a
young
couple
guys.
months old, if you can get them a few weeks or
That's when you
months
really
old,
want to shake a baby.
that's
yeah.
when you want to take them outside and just shake the scream out of them.
Spock said that?
Yeah, Dr. Spock. I'm
Vulcan?
almost positive. Yeah.
That seems like it's totally against the Vulcan mindset to me.
Well, you don't have to do a Vulcan grip on them. That would be
No, it just
Terrible
seems,
to
it just
do it
seems
to a
against
the
their
Vulcan code,
right.
their
I don't-
culture.
Yeah, they don't seem like they're that kind of people.
You read Dr. Spock's book, didn't you?
No, I did not read
Oh.
Dr. Spock.
He wrote it as Dr. Spock.
Oh my God. Keep
See
going.
what we
with
have
it.
to deal
Yeah, I know. See what we deal with every day, people.
What am I doing? What's
Why
going
didn't
on?
anyone take you outside at 2 months old and just
No, they did. They did.
They
They did. I think.
I don't think they shook hard enough.
He quick turns to the Google machine. He's like, "What am I
Look
missing?"
up Dr. Spock parenting book.
Yeah.
Tell me what you find.
See if it was in fact drafted by Leonard Nimoy.
And see if I'm an asshole that's lying to you.
Well, I mean, Benjamin Spock. Yes.
with a foreword by Captain Kirk.
Chapter 1.
Dude.
Take your infant outside and
wait a minute.
shake the scream
Special-
out of 'em.
special
What?
acknowledgement.
No, you know what?
Shaking them until they stop
Look,
screaming.
that's bullshit. You said Spock. You said Leonard Nimoy. I could have believed that Leonard Nimoy would have wrote some. He's an actor. No one
Dude,
knows actors.
everybody knows Dr. Spock wrote a famous
I don't.
parenting.
I didn't know that.
Fuck, man.
Did Mickey know that?
Yeah.
Just
Mickey-
don't even
Mickey's
lie,
a-
you son of a bitch. He said
didn't know?
everyone. He just said everyone.
All right. Well, Mick's way younger.
Yeah.
I would say anybody above 30
Oh,
knows that.
what a
Yeah.
what
Anybody above 26.
what a fucking how
When,
convenient.
when was Dr. Spock's book really? When we were
I
kids?
think early 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was famous for, you take them outside and you just shake them. And you
19
don't stop shaking them.
1946.
okay? Why the
What?
fuck would I know about?
No,
it?
yeah.
1946.
But I think parents really started using Spock's book in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be
it,
wrong,
like,
but
came in vogue or something.
Yeah.
'Cause I really, wow, that's shocking.
yeah. I like before Star Trek even.
You're right.
Shut up, dude. I would
It's
not.
like
have,
Star Trek was his second career.
Yeah.
I would not
yeah,
have
totally.
I don't think that's out of the realm that I wouldn't have known what you're talking. You said Leonard Nimoy and then you said Spock, so you made a Star Trek reference. It's not out of question to me that
Dude, what was the show he did after Star Trek? It was sort of like about paranormal stuff and all that.
Oh yeah.
I could never get through an episode. I just didn't like that show that much.
I don't even remember what the name of that was.
Mick, do you know? He's got it. That was weird.
Fringe.
No, God no. He's,
No, it wasn't a drama. It was like a
Paranormal. show. I
sort of
think you're right.
document. He would introduce the story. He'd kind of walk toward you, talking about the story.
Yeah.
God, I haven't thought about that in years.
When was that on? You think
Ancient
like
Mysteries.
No.
well,
Well,
the 80s?
while you're looking, Amazon link. Don't
Yes.
forget about it. It's on our website, DetroitCast.com. You'll see it prominently displayed. Amazon link, hit it. Shop as you normally do. You won't be charged anymore. That's the key. So just please use it liberally, and they'll give us a bit of a kickback, so it helps.
In
Yes.
Search of.
Yes, in search of.
He did another one after that though. So he's done 2 different talk
Okay.
shows where he does supernatural stuff.
Okay. In search of. Right, Mike? I could never
Yeah.
get through kind of.
I don't know if I
kinda,
watched.
I kind of watch it with great hope. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that looks cool. Maybe
Yeah.
they're going to show us like aliens really exist. And then, I'm
Yeah.
not buying this.
Yeah. I barely remember that. I almost remember promos for it more than the show. Was that on what year did you say that was on?
1977 to 1982.
Okay.
wow, that went a lot of years though. 5.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Cop. Remember him?
Oh, yeah. The university cop.
Yeah. There's more coming out on him. He's, of course, they have to point out that he's the white cop who shot the unarmed black man in the head.
Dude, he shot him as he was driving away,
Yeah.
right?
The guy with 13 kids
Yeah.
and 60 arrests.
Yeah.
They said
Any
that,
more details on the arrests? We were speculating drug type stuff. But
yeah, and I'll get into that because it didn't. I would think they would point out if it was serious stuff, but it looks like pretty minor stuff, to be honest with you. He was known to be extremely proactive in traffic enforcement. According to
that
records, yeah, I was thinking, okay, that means he's really getting in some shit when he can. He can't
Yeah.
wait to run into the fire.
like an
and-
Officer Walters.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to traffic stuff.
Absolutely, this is an us
I
and them, us versus them business, and only one of us can go home at the end of the day, and so you get proactive and you start knocking heads. That's the way Officer Walters polices. but-
Proactive.
In traffic stops. Like
Yeah, that's right. You
that's
go up,
2 over.
one hand on the gun, one hand on the taser. You go up and you give a little knock on the window. That's how you start a traffic
Quick
stop.
draw.
Yeah, quick draw. Exactly. That's textbook. But according to records released by the university, a supervisor gave him high appraisal score that put him between satisfactory and superior. They noted that he needed to interact with the public more beyond the role of traffic enforcement in order to improve his demeanor, which I think is bullshit. I think the least amount of contact you can have with the community, you don't want to run the risk of like knowing the guy. I mean, it makes it a lot harder to shoot someone when you know them, right?
Right.
So I would think like you don't want to like draw your gun on your boy Pete, and then it's like, fuck, it's Pete. You know what I mean? So I would steer clear of that to young officers out there. You want to have as little contact with the public as possible in those situations. I think that only helps. As I said, it's an us versus them business. So they wanted to encourage him to get out and get in the public more and interact. I don't know. Do they mean on police time, or do they mean just in general? They expect you to like off the clock go play hoops with people. I'm serious. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either. They're probably reading some vague chicken scratch on a freaking performance document.
Yeah, right.
They're doing anything they can to get info on this guy. And some superior jotted down a couple things or checked a couple boxes. And
probably checked for everybody that box.
Yeah.
Get out and mingle with the community more.
Right. Community service increase.
Yeah. The university records indicate he joined the force last year, received positive marks at his annual review. Tensing is extremely confident. It's always good. With conducting traffic enforcement, he's helped other officers in becoming more efficient and knowledgeable concerning traffic codes and tactics. He was graded high in officer safety, including maintaining control of his weapons in situations he's involved in and being prepared to use necessary force.
That's always good.
Yeah. I mean,
he certainly was prepared to use some force there, despite a fleeing vehicle.
He graded satisfactory in attitude, including tolerance, friendliness, and impartiality.
How do they even, I don't know, how they really, on tolerance, how do they really, you'd have to be out there every day to see his interaction.
I totally agree with that. Like, how do you do that in a training thing?
Well, we haven't had any complaints, so I guess he must be pretty tolerant out there.
Yeah, that's like following a family around with cameras for a reality show and thinking you're getting their real people.
Right.
It's like, you've got cameras on you. Of course you're going to behave differently when you've got cameras on you. So I don't know what that means. Maybe someone could explain that to us. But so the stop that they were involved in, he apparently turned on his lights and this guy drove for another mile. So right there, any cop would be on guard. Like this guy's running, he's fleeing. So I could totally see a cop being at least like aware of where his weapon is at all times. If you're going to take off and go for a mile on a guy, he asked to see his driver's license several times. Instead, he handed him that bottle of alcohol.
And this is the guy without the front license plate, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The officer then asked him to step out of the vehicle. There was a struggle at the door with Mr. DuBose in his vehicle, the officer outside the vehicle. And that's when the vehicle sped away, drew his gun and fired. I see that as a problem at some point.
That's like movie shit, man. I said it before, you know?
Yeah.
See it in the movies. Yeah. Car takes off. Boom, 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 boom.
Go for the tires or something.
The family says that Samuel DuBose, Sam has been sick for a while. He did not have no fight in him. Nothing. He was just so weak to take his life. His life was, he was very fragile. I don't know what that means. Mentally, physically. They don't elaborate, so I'm not sure.
I don't get it. Yeah, he's still driving around and apparently,
but they're just trying to say, look, he couldn't have been any sort of physical threat to the guy. He was frail.
And I would tend to agree with that. I mean, if the guy's driving away from you, how do you?
Yeah, this guy's fucked.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I'm surprised this hasn't blown up bigger than this. Maybe there's more to it. Police pulled him over and charged him with not having a license 13 times. He was charged 4 times with not having a proper license plate on his vehicle. So the front license plate continued to be an issue for him.
It's like Kadog, I think, pointed out the other day. He's like, where'd they go? It's the law in Ohio. You got issued a front license plate. Like, what?
Yeah.
Just fell off.
Well, did he though? I mean, I guess he
got into a car accident and the bumper fell off. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have a license 13 times. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
but if you have a rear plate on there,
yeah,
where'd your front one go? I don't know. It could be anywhere, I guess.
He was also charged with driving under suspension 8 times. And I think, when you get into certain towns, I know when Crack and I were out, and I always thought that if there's a warrant out for your arrest, That's it. You get pulled over and there's a warrant. I don't care what it's for. You're done. You're going in somewhere to a jail or to a holding spot until you can work that out. Well, in a lot of places, there's so much bullshit going on, and there's so much suspensions and license failures and things. You know, the guy we had in the car had 20 warrants.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's like, and he told me before he ran his shit, he goes, watch this. Swipes his license, and it's just like,
damn.
and it was like 20, 25 warrants. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we're going to a thing. And he's like, yeah, he's got most of them in this town. I'm going to call them and see if they want him and wait for them to come back, and no response. And so they just go back out on the streets. It's like they don't have time to dick around with a guy.
There's space to put them. And
there was another guy we pulled over, and he's with his wife and his kids. He's living in a hotel, and he pulls out, and I don't know if he didn't have taillights or what, but we pull him over, and he's got a fucking 30 warrants, and nobody wants him.
Yeah.
He's on a suspended license. And so he says, this car doesn't move. This car doesn't move. Pull it over, and it doesn't move. Yes, sir, officer. And I said, how long is that car going to stay there? He said, well, let's turn around. It'll be gone by the time we get back. And it was gone by the time we got back.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just a cat and mouse
Right, because why
game.
does
Like,
he care? He knows it's not gonna.
yeah, what are you gonna do? Okay, I don't have 10 grand to go pay all this bullshit off, so I still need to get to work, and I still need to go get food. So I'm sorry. Guess I'm driving on a suspended license. So you can see how quickly you can't get your tags done because you don't have a valid this, and so it's just a ball that starts rolling, and all of a sudden you're 2 years down the road. You still don't have any money to pay all this shit off, and you've got 60 fucking tickets.
Yeah.
Or arrests.
Yeah.
Like, that's a vicious cycle to be, unless you win the lottery. I don't know what they.
Then you got your 13 kids.
Yeah.
Shit, man. So they all need to go to their activities, and
you've got to provide
their
private schooling.
They
Private
gotta
school is outrageous these days.
Little league after school and choir practice
That's
and
right.
the violin
Yeah, the band practice, firing up,
Their church activities.
choir.
So, yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but that's brutal. But I would think if he had even one, like, selling drugs or whatever, that would be the thing that they would highlight. But it seems like it's a bunch of just little kind of nothing shit. Oh, he doesn't have his front license plate. Oh, he doesn't have his tags properly done. Oh, so yeah, it's a sad story.
Why isn't it a bigger story?
I don't
Dude got
know.
plugged in the head driving away.
Yeah. Unless there's more to that story that we're not told. But I would think with these details that are out, that this would be a way sexier story for the Black Lives Matter movement than Michael Brown.
Right.
I mean, Michael Brown, the Justice Department got involved and said, sorry. I'm sorry. He fucking decked this officer in the face multiple times. The officer has a right to defend himself, and he fucking lost his life over it. There's nothing to prosecute here. I'm sorry. That case looks like way more of something that the Black Lives Matter movement would jump behind.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. It's weird.
Hey, Chris Stajelski, maybe your Proops needs a bigger yard, she says. Maybe your family's expecting their very own sweet pie. If you're looking for a new home, Chris Stajelski of Remax Suburban is the realtor you need to help you find the home of your dreams.
Realtor.
Check out Krista's website at kristasellshouses.com or call her anytime at 586-918-0900.
I got a Proops here to show you, Jay.
What do you got?
It's a human Proops, but
Proops nevertheless.
We've got a former now Georgia deputy and all types of shit indicted yesterday on federal charges over a no-knock drug raid. So no-knock means they're not coming and knocking on the door.
They're busting down the door.
Boom! They're just coming in. And left a toddler with some pretty horrific injuries after a flash grenade exploded in his playpen.
Damn, dude. It sounds like the one from Detroit. Remember they threw the flash grenade? They actually killed the little girl. One of the cops fired a shot. There was, I guess, allegation that one of the residents tried to grab his weapon. I think a mother or grandmother or something. And a round went off and wailed a little girl who was sleeping on the couch just inside the door. You remember this? It was like an A&E show or something that they were filming. They were filming in Detroit.
Wow, I don't remember this.
Maybe 2 years ago.
Did they get the wrong house or do they have the right?
No, they were going in the right house. I think the perp was upstairs and escaped.
So
or
was
some shit.
A&E following the cops?
Yes.
Okay, I
It was
thought
like a
it
cop
was
show.
like a reality show in the house. I was like, what?
No, sorry, I didn't set that up well. But yeah, it was like 2 years ago, and the cop was tried. Maybe there was a mistrial or something. I think that whole legal proceeding's still going on.
Really?
But same kind of deal, dude. They came in and little Proops got hurt, man.
Yeah. They,
October of last year. That was
wow. Why don't I remember that?
7-year-old girl
Did
shot
we
in the
talk
head, no
about
knock raid.
Geez, October. We would have been doing a show at that point.
Dude, I feel like
for
it was
sure.
longer than that, Mick. You sure? You got the right one? It's in Detroit, A&E show. and
Oh
all
yeah, sorry, my bad. Here, 2010.
that? All right.
All right. Now I feel better.
This article was just recently
Updated.
written for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like Jay said, it's maybe still going on, so maybe that's the reason. Maybe something happened.
Yeah, there's some legal
Maybe.
proceeding against the cop, but
So
Hey, I didn't get the date wrong.
It's my bad.
Nikki Autry, 29 years old, has been charged with making false statements to obtain a search warrant for the home that agents stormed with bad consequences in May of 2014. The SWAT team member tossed a flash grenade into the property after finding the front door was blocked. Okay, so they're trying to ram the front door. They can't get in the front door, so they toss a grenade in, flash grenade. They realized that what was blocking the door was a portable playpen.
oh god.
Yeah. And the grenade had landed where a 19-month-old was sleeping, exploding on the child's pillow.
Oh, dude.
Look at it, Proops' face.
That's
Look how
awful.
cute that kid was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable. The explosion blew baby Boonkham phone Savannah.
What?
I know. Boonkham
Phone Savannah?
phone Savannah. You tell me.
Yeah, boy.
It's Phonesavan.
Phone Savannah.
Okay.
I'm very good at reading these things.
Lakes Minivan USA.
Exactly.
That was still the best.
Phone Savannah. I know. I miss Lakes Mini.
I know, dude. Why can't I wish that somehow trial would have just turned into a long ordeal or something? Or
You need to go to more trials.
I agree. I'm down for that.
Speaking of trials, when the fucking pigman gonna start, dude?
Soon.
I can call up again, I guess. I think that I'm sure they'll just tell me fall, but maybe they'll give me a more clear date now.
Please do.
I'll call this week. Well, not this week, but next week.
The parents, Alicia and Boone Khan,
I will.
were staying with relatives at the time of the raid because their home in Wisconsin had recently burned down.
Oh boy.
Dude, someone's got it out for your family.
Oh,
I mean,
man, you can't catch a break.
you're staying with relatives because your house burned down and it gets raided and a flash grenade blows up your
Yeah,
baby.
that is just
You gotta stay away from combustibles.
Yeah, absolutely.
well, like did
At a
somebody
minimum.
after them, some enemy or some shit. That's weird, dude.
The police did not allow the phone Savannahs to see their son Boo Boo. So they called him Boo Boo.
Oh, little guy.
Yeah, little boo boo.
So he was carried out by an officer. He was placed in a medically induced coma. He needed at least 10 surgeries since. His mother said his nerve endings are dead around his mouth and chest, so they will not be able to properly develop as they are supposed to. So they'll have to go in and do stretching and grafts
Ugh.
on this poor son of a bitch. Deputy Nikki Autry, she
Oh, what? Whoa.
Yeah. She
What?
botched the SWAT raid.
Is there a misprint there?
No.
Did it mean to say he?
Nope.
Oh,
She botched the SWAT raid, is also being charged with providing false info to obtain the arrest warrant. The federal indictment says the raid should not have happened. Without her false statements, there was no probable cause to search the premises for drugs or to make the arrests. Grand jury found the investigation that led the raid was hurried and sloppy, but recommended no criminal charges. But prosecutors now say that Autry gave an affidavit to a magistrate based on false info. Basically, she went in and went, I've got a reliable source that said drugs are being sold in there.
Uh-huh.
And the judge signed off on a no-knock warrant. And it turns out this guy was kind of full of shit. He wasn't really a reliable source at all. He was new. And it kind of blew up in her face. I mean,
Blew
after
up in
blowing up.
And not the
Boo-boo's
fun,
face.
not the
Yeah.
fun way, right? I mean,
Exactly.
Like,
So, the phone Savannahs, great news. They received $1 million.
oh,
The breakdown there includes $137,000 to Boo Boo's father, Boone Khan, phone Savannah.
what the hell?
Boone Con phone Savannah. What?
What
It's
the?
like John Smith.
Yeah, just like it.
So Boone Con got himself 137 grand for his personal injuries, 62 grand to Boo Boo's mother for her suffering and emotional distress as a result of witnessing her baby's maiming. I would think that'd be worth more than 62 grand.
Yeah, maybe.
9 grand to each of Boo Boo's 3 sisters because they were on the property at the time too.
Wow.
Nice.
And then the rest to Boo Boo.
It's a nice little paycheck.
I guess.
The balance to Boo Boo.
But 9 grand to the kids, like 62 grand to the ma. It just
well, the
I don't
mom
know.
seems a little less. I think the kids, it's fine.
You want to
9,000.
open those deep pockets to you, Mike?
well, I just think $1 million split between 6 people. The kid's face is fucked.
Well, he gets the balance. He gets like 800 grand toward the kid.
Look at it, Proops.
I see that proofs.
His whole face is blown off. No nerve endings.
Hmm.
Stretching. They're gonna stretch his face out. That's an outrage.
Poor little guy.
Yeah, Boo Boo.
Life is unfair, man.
He's an adorable kid too. His modeling career's over. It's over.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at him.
He had the overalls with no shirt look going.
Yeah,
He was rocking it.
he looks a little like E, doesn't he?
I was thinking that. Yeah, for sure. How's Ede doing, by the way?
He's doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Kristen doesn't have some crazy thing like he's not helmeted 24 hours a day or anything?
Eating
don't-
kale yet?
Kale smoothies.
Yeah. I don't know. I have, you know what? I need to talk to her, but as far as I know, he's not helmeted. As far as I know.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's not helmeted, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, I know Marshall's not.
Yeah, how's
helmeted.
Marshall's nuts, by the way? Has he grown into them, or are
yeah.
they still?
I don't know if he'll
getting
ever be able to grow into those. to
Are you
be
getting
honest with
regular
you.
updates on the
I
ball
haven't.
sack?
Yeah.
I'm sure G would be happy to give them.
He would. He would. I'm sure he's listening. And
Yeah, can we get an update, G?
on Marshall's nuts. See how they're. See if they've dropped yet.
This is a weird subject to tiptoe around in a way.
Sure is. Sure is. No, as far as I know, he's not helmeted.
But you know what though? That I'm willing to take that risk of talking about your. I guess what is he?
Eric's
do?
interested in little baby balls. So,
Yeah.
G, if you could give him an update, sounds like he's very, very interested to hear that.
Just from a health perspective or
Right.
something that doesn't make me look like a pedophile.
Too late. Why don't we take a quick break?
On that note,
Yeah. On Marshall's balls note. And we'll come back and we'll tell you about a Disney doll that's causing a little bit of outrage.
Stupid, man.
Yeah, it happens. We'll do that and much more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey there, it's Steve Gabarra, the general manager at Zott Ford in Holly. Summer's in full swing, and so are the incredible deals at Zott Ford. Right now, you can lease the amazingly fuel-efficient 2015 Ford Focus at only $148 a month for 24 short months. Or if you're looking for something a little larger and with a touch more luxury, come lease the 2016 Ford Fusion for just $158 for only 24 months. Friends, if you've been shopping around, you already know these are incredible deals. And much like our Michigan summers, they won't last for long. So hurry into Zott Ford at I-75 and exit 98 to take advantage of a Focus for just $148 or a Fusion for $158 right now. And if you mention the Proops sent you, we'll throw in an autographed TDC shirt and hat. Check out our zany deals and our massive inventory at ZottFord.com.
Detroitcast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
Welcome back to the Detroit Cast on a Friday with Mike and Jay. Disturbing reports coming out of Louisiana.
Lafayette.
That's Jin's hometown.
No shit.
Jinsu. Yes.
Jinsu is from Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, his parents have a restaurant there.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cajun style. No?
Chinese food.
Oh, really?
It's supposed to be delicious, too. I haven't been there.
Delicious.
I almost said delicious. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm an asshole.
Jin,
It's on me.
we're just joking.
You know what's awesome, Jay?
What?
Is that I can put
Shut up,
paper,
E.
I can put papers down on the floor, and I have no worries anymore.
Yeah,
like I can set
something's
this
gonna
next to me.
Eat your important business. documents.
don't remind me to
I'm just thinking of it. I just realized when I set something down, I'm like, for a second, I was like, oh man. And then I was like, no, there's nothing going to happen. They'll be here.
As
long
the
as I
thought
want
has
them to be
crossed my
here.
mind too, as I reach behind me and try to, create a pile over there.
Peroops. Her bed's still made over there. Where's the peroops?
So she's getting all sorts of attention right now over at Beth's
probably.
house.
I like walking in the house and it's like, there's the peroops.
No, I get that. I will say I get that. Like, I get that aspect
Gone
of
too
it for
soon.
you, but
Gone too soon.
Gone too soon.
Anyway, yeah, there's reports that are just breaking tonight of another movie theater shooting.
Dude, just sitting ducks,
Yeah.
And of course, the big story right now is dickhead out of Colorado, Aurora,
Yeah.
Colorado, who
Yeah.
shot up killed 12, injured 58, something like that.
Yep.
The Joker dressed up like the
Yes.
Joker at the Batman movie and just started whacking.
Yeah, killed 12, and the only reason he didn't kill many more was his gun jammed.
Yeah.
So,
And so I guess
58 injured.
The news today is that the death penalty's on the table.
Which it would have been a shock if it wasn't. Although,
Seriously, under those circumstances.
who makes the call on that? Is it would the mayor of the town make the call on?
Mayor?
What
The fuck with the mayor?
No, one of the people that I heard interviewed today said, and they were some mayor or in the town said, there will be no death penalty. I don't care if it's ordered on my watch, not as long as I hold this office.
What?
Yeah. I was like, are you shitting me, dude? Really?
Yeah.
This guy wiped out 12 people, including a 6-year-old girl who
Yeah.
took 4 bullets.
Oh, some people are just completely against it though. Like
Yeah.
100%. Boom, no death penalty. So
Yep.
you can tell them the most heinous of circumstances, and it's, hey, I just don't believe in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's one of them. Jurors, on the other hand, decided unanimously that the attack was so heinous, depraved, and cruel that it deserves the death penalty.
What's dickhead's name again? Slipping my mind.
James? Was it James Holmes?
There you go. Those stupid pictures of him with his dumb orange hair and shit, just looking.
James Holmes. Yeah. Yeah, with the orange hair looking crazy. Defense obviously is going to say, oh, his life should be spared. Jurors said capital punishment is justified because he murdered a large number of victims, caused grave risk of death to others, committed murder in a heinous, cruel, depraved manner, and laid in wait or ambush. So those were what they were trying to decide today. And then if they decided that it was to be on the table, it could be on the table, then they go to the next step. They did not prove that Holmes intentionally killed a child, but other aggravating factors ensure the jurors will continue to consider whether he should die. Holmes wanted to murder as many people as he could in the audience of more than 400 people.
They didn't prove that he intentionally killed a child. Didn't you just say that a 12-year-old was
6-year-old took 4 bullets and was killed? But it's a different level when you're trying to get capital punishment on the table of intentionally doing that. And I guess what they weren't able to prove was because when the police first started talking to him, one of the first questions Holmes asked was, there wasn't any children killed in there, was there?
Oh,
or
really?
something like that. Yeah. It was a midnight showing of the new Batman movie. So, I don't know. That
So
seems
in
like
order
a technicality.
to elevate it, they've got to have this extra proof. All right. And
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems like they weren't able to prove that one, but they were able to say it for the other 36 counts of aggravated murder against him. So, who cares? So, anyway, after the next phase, jurors will decide whether his mental problems outweigh the lifelong suffering he caused. If so, the trial will end there with a life sentence instead of the death penalty. If not, the sentencing will move into the final phase in which victims get up and talk about how this has affected their lives, and then they'll have to decide whether or not to kill him. So,
God, the most remarkable thing about that story is that he only killed 12 people.
yeah, the gun jammed.
Yeah, it's incredible. 400 people just sitting there staring at a screen, and he walks down at the bottom and just starts spraying bullets.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
And I can only imagine he had, didn't he have grenades with him or something? I thought he chucked stuff in there.
I remember he had booby trapped his apartment.
Yeah, that's
so when
right.
They went and
You're
searched, they were all worried that.
Yeah. But if his gun doesn't jam, like you said, you think about where the exits are in a movie theater. You have to go down steps, because it's theater seating
toward him.
Or you could be like the guy that abandoned his kid.
Yeah,
and
his kid
jumped
and his
over the
wife.
rail. Yeah.
Well, salvage people live longer, as I've said.
Yeah. And he was out there giving interviews that right then he didn't know where his wife was or the kid, but whatever.
Well, he's safe.
He was safe. But yeah, you either go to the front of the theater and literally where he's standing and
Where you
firing.
get up and you start running to the back.
Yeah, and so people dove. The reason there weren't as many casualties is because people dove immediately, as you would do, dove under their seat.
Yeah, but it's
And-
not like one of those seats can stop a bullet, but I get what you're saying. They're sort of out of view, so he starts to spray other areas. It jams.
Yeah, and if you think about it with theater seating, if you get down, you don't have a sight line, and you also are shooting through. It's not like they're all the same row, and you just plug it and the bullet goes through. Like it's elevated.
Yeah,
it goes on an
true.
elevation, so you wouldn't have that.
You almost want to walk along the side of the row.
Yes.
And just plug down each row.
Which I think he would have done next had the gun not jammed. Imagine him going up the aisle and just next row and just mowing down as many people as you could. But his gun jammed, and that was the end of it. So yeah, brutal story. So
Let me introduce to you, Mike,
yes, please.
the all-new 2015 Ford Transit Connect van.
Transit, Bob Walters.
Ford is back in the minivan business, and they're back with a vengeance. With a best-in-class fuel economy of 30 miles per gallon, the new Transit Connect van can be configured and customized more than any minivan on the market. Plus, all this comfort, convenience, and luxury can be had for just $195 per month at Zott Ford and Holly. It's time to dump that antiquated, outdated grocery getter and jump into the all-new Ford Transit Connect minivan at Zott Ford. Lease this sweet machine for just $195 per month for a short 24-month lease. Hurry down to Zott Ford at I-75 and exit 98. They are much closer than you think.
I hate people, Jay. I know there's
I generally knew that.
I know there's an image of us that showcases I hate people.
Oh, yeah.
But
That's that one downtown.
Yeah, but I really mean it that I hate people. And
they can be annoying, Mike. They can.
I hate this guy so much. This father, if you can even call him that, is called on Disney to recall a talking doll from its latest movie, Inside Out. You familiar with the plot line of Inside Out?
No, I'm not.
You do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It looks
it's-
I think it actually looks kind of good.
Yeah, most of these Disney movies are.
It's like the characters are emotions or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's sadness and there's
It's in your
anger.
brain, right?
And so these characters all make up the brain of an 11-year-old girl.
Okay.
And so throughout, she I think she like moves to New York or some new city, and so you're getting a peer inside the brain of an 11-year-old, and there's different emotions that come out in a kid, and so these animated creatures play all of those emotions.
Okay.
Right. It's going to be a humongous movie. It's just coming out this week, I believe. Right.
Is it? I thought
Yeah.
wasn't it out already? Maybe it's not. I guess I was wrong.
I thought it was coming out this week. I don't know. I
Oh,
won't
it's
see it.
it's been out for a while.
I thought
think.
so. That's
Is
what I
it?
a couple
thought.
months, I think.
No,
No.
not a couple months, but
June 19th.
oh wow, Jay was right.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Well, the toys are out too. And this guy's got a problem with one of the toys because of the toy expresses suicidal thoughts. he
Oh no.
believes.
Oh no.
Yeah. The cartoon, let's see, Andrew Smith is the guy's name. He fears the doll, fears a doll of one of the emotions, sadness. And there it is, the blue one.
So this isn't a take on what the doll is saying. Usually we have these stories where somebody believes a minion is saying, stick it up my ass, stick it up my ass.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Well, sort of. The doll does speak.
But
And
it's
it's-
not somebody saying, oh, this doll is not really saying something mundane. They're saying something pornographic.
No, it's not one of those where the doll they think is saying something and it's saying, kill yourself.
Yeah, he just objects to the fact that the doll represents sadness.
Well, that and some of the catchphrases it does say, and I'll explain what those are. Sadness could lead to children becoming depressed.
Hook.
He bought the talking toy for his 11-year-old daughter at a Disney store. He was shocked to overhear the doll voicing what he says was suicidal comments, such as, "Crying makes me slow down and obsess over the weight of life's problems."
All that comes out of the doll.
Yeah.
That is kind of a long sentence.
I'm in an emotional slump. My legs don't work. Give me an hour and goodbye, friendship. Hello, loneliness.
Wow.
This is the sadness doll, the emotion in the child. Like, and if you saw the movie, I can promise you these are lines that this kid says in the movie.
Yeah. Look at this dude, by the way. That's the dad. Check him out.
Douchebag.
Which one's the douchebag?
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
It's him and his
you
fat
said this
kid.
dude. I didn't know. I thought they both were, but
He
That's
branded
his daughter?
I think.
oh,
That's his daughter. That's his daughter.
Oh, no.
oh,
Just wanted to point that out.
Ooh.
all
right.
right. I thought that was
Whoopsie.
two sons.
He branded the
son and a
phrases toxic. These are toxic, and called on Disney to recall the toy.
God, man.
The father of two soon-to-be pussies said, I wasn't terribly keen on her buying a doll called Sadness. I didn't think it was a terribly good idea for mental well-being, but then I thought, well, it's Disney. What's the harm? It turned out I was very, very wrong. When we turned the doll on, it had some very generic phrases, but also some absolutely crazy messages for young children. The doll speaks in a very slow, depressed, melancholic tone.
Melancholic. That's awesome.
And myself and my partner
Yeah.
sat listening to it, and we thought, that's heavy, even for an adult.
Even for an adult?
For an adult, this is heavy.
What?
I think it's really a damaging message for young children, in particular preteens, who may be struggling with hormones anyways. To have something telling them their legs aren't working because they are in an emotional slump, it's almost putting a suggestion onto somebody that this could happen to them.
Damn, dude.
This
This guy must have a real problem with the seven dwarfs. You know?
Yeah.
Number one, they're called dwarfs. That's not cool.
Outrage.
Should be called fidgets, as we all know.
Yeah.
But sleepy, dopey, grumpy. Grumpy?
I forgot.
Bashful?
Aren't most
Yeah.
of them not even? You're right. Most of them are bad. You just named
Dopey.
three.
How can you have dopey? That's like a retard. You can't have a retard guy now.
Yeah, dopey,
It should
shitty.
be like mentally disabled.
yeah.
E.
It should be,
Yeah.
you could call him Dwarf E.
Dude, I forgot to tell you. When you guys met at my house this morning so we could go out to the Red Bull thing. And I ran out to get new.
Which was very odd to arrive here and not have you home.
Yeah, I left the door unlocked for you though. And
Which, by the way, I walk in and the first story on CNN, base jumper dead.
really?
Yes. I'm about to go skydive.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That worked out. You're fine. You're here. Everything worked out. But I ran up to the Target. That was the only thing open.
That's Targety.
Thank you.
at 7:45 this morning.
It's French.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm walking in and look at that proops. A full-grown fidget who didn't come up past my waist.
Wow. Just
African
a wee man.
American fidget.
Huh.
With a beard.
Whoa.
I swear to God. Have you ever seen one? I didn't think so.
Wow. Just strutting around at 7:45 in Target.
I tried to get a picture of it, but it didn't. The image didn't show up on the.
Try to apprehend.
I thought about it, but it was early, and I was in a rush.
Poison dart. You're not carrying them anymore.
I took a picture of it, and the image didn't show up. I don't know.
Yeah, that's typical. They're mythical creatures.
Right. Yeah. So there was not. When I went to look at my pictures, I took a few pictures actually, and none of them showed up. It was like a ghost.
Huh.
It was weird.
Did he have his pot of gold with him?
I didn't see a pot of gold with him, but
How'd he pay?
I don't know. I lost him pretty quick.
They're quick.
Yeah.
They are fast.
Yeah. So
Especially that time of morning.
yeah. Was it?
Oh God. Mick just pulled up an image of a little wee Mr. T.
Mine was a little older than that. Yep.
Hmm.
It was remarkable. I can't believe I forgot to tell you guys about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was real or if I was dreaming, but
It was a weird
impressive.
morning all around.
Mm-hmm. Look at that, proofs.
Wow. He's wee.
Is it possible to look hard when you're wee like that?
Yeah, you ever see the movie Little Man by any chance? Little Man, it's the Wayans brothers do it.
Huh.
And
no.
one of the brothers like
Yeah,
is
Marlon, I
basically
think.
is basically a fidget.
Yeah.
And he's in jail and he's a hard guy and
Yeah.
all this shit and he gets out, it's a jewel thief kind of dumb
Yeah.
kid movie, but
Baby Finster.
yeah, basically.
Yeah, this one has dreadlocks and tats all over him, and he's like
Sweet.
2'6".
No,
Really,
what's the
dude?
point, man?
Yeah. Yeah, look at that son of a bitch. Anyway, so back to this guy. They're all pissed off and calling for Disney to get rid of this
We
toy.
have to do something.
Yeah. How about you just don't buy it? Take it. I mean, seriously, dude, is that where we're at now? We're boycotting Disney toys?
It's unbelievable to me. I mean, that people have the time for this.
Yeah.
This shit. We had the Target store yesterday with the trophy
Mhm.
shirts and this woman who's just gone ape shit over it.
Yeah.
It kills me that people have time to do this shit.
Yeah. Or if you have time, why you would waste it dealing with this
Right.
issue?
There's real issues in the world. Exactly.
Yeah.
Devote it to something else.
Yeah. It just seems totally, I can't think of a bigger waste of time. And I think if you're going to be bent out of shape out of a doll like this, then I can only imagine what real problems or real issues are going to do to
Yeah,
you and your kids.
How are you going to shield your kid from real life?
Yeah.
You're worried about this doll saying 3 phrases that are arguably melancholic?
Yeah.
Arguably
Right.
melancholic.
Yeah.
And they're clearly
I'd make that
lines from the
argument.
movie. I mean, there's a point to them.
Yeah.
It's
Does
just,
he want them to remove that emotion from the movie? I mean,
Well, no one should ever feel sadness, Jay. No one should feel sadness. Everything should just be good all the time. Heaven forbid anyone fail at anything or anyone tell anybody that they're not perfect and 100% as good as everybody and everywhere.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that a guy like that who, he probably has the best of intentions to raise this kid
Yeah.
well and wants him to be a good kid and wants the kid to be well adjusted, but it's just hard to believe. Like, you can't step back and go, what am I doing, man? Does this make sense overall?
I wouldn't want to see what my kid would grow up to be that's worried about stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be worried about the damage you're doing to a kid. Because you can absolutely, as you know, mold that kid to be a monster if you want.
Oh, I know.
I mean, you could do a lot of things, and you're basically raising a kid to be this total
Little-
pussy.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that kid gonna do
It's a
when
little weenus.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of goes along with this story, which we had a similar story, I don't know, a week ago, about another group of women shedding their clothes
Oh, God.
to show that everybody's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
So it's the American Beauty kind of theme.
Yeah, the
So
Mina
American,
Savara.
right, laying there in the rose petals.
Yeah.
Whatever
so-
happened to her, by the way,
Dude,
And
good
there's one,
question.
dude. Let me tell you, that's another one that got shoved down our throats. Is she is so hot?
Yeah.
No, she wasn't, man.
Yeah.
she was not hot.
She was young and
Not
she was new.
hot.
She was young and new.
Not hot.
Well, she was hotter than these.
But honestly, where the hell is she?
Yeah, that's a good
What's
question.
wrong-
I have
what's
no
wrong
idea.
with those, Mike?
I don't know. What's wrong with them?
Not hot.
I don't remember I'm trying to remember. I need a better shot of her. I don't remember.
You need a
I'm
nude
sure-
one, don't you? You saw American Beauty, right?
Kevin
Yeah, I did,
Spacey.
but I haven't seen it in a long time.
Was she naked at the end of that? Like he
I
tried to
thought
get with
so.
her.
There
and-
certainly was if it wasn't naked, it was very
like
very
she was going
close
to give
to
it up to him, and he walked away from it or some shit. It was
Yeah, she
kind
was
of a-
nude in it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're right. She was okay, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, this photographer, Carrie Fruth, shot 14 different women for the photo series, which was inspired by the film American Beauty, except done with purple
slow down.
flowers.
American Beauty.
I know,
Couldn't
from
you
like
pick-
1999.
Couldn't you? There's not another movie cover or something that you could maybe use from the last 10 years.
Well, her point is Mina Savari, who is slender and blonde, is viewed as his ideal woman in the film. She wants to prove that with this Photoshop or photo shoot that true beauty does not fit into a certain mold. Almost every image you see in mainstream media is of one type of woman, thin white woman to be specific, but that is not actually the majority of women. What the majority of women in this country look like. America is made up of all types of women who are hungry to see themselves represented in a beautiful way, and why shouldn't they? The woman who posed proudly laid down in a bed of lilacs, using the flowers to cover their titties.
Is it too wrong? You know, by the way, I've said this before. I know there is, Jay kind of says about the idea of like, you're right, that you can find someone loves some, I forget how you worded it, but either what the point is I was going to get at is,
yeah, you're beautiful to someone.
Right. You're beautiful to someone. Yeah. But the point is like, dude, like overweightness is a thing. It's a health thing. You will, if you know, it's not just, oh, well, I can be 400 pounds and you can be 400 pounds and beautiful if you want to say that, but you're going to get the diabetes and you're going to get the health risks that come from it, the heart issues, everything else that comes with it. It's not like just a fake, completely fake thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can say that it's beautiful, but there is health issues that come with being overweight. It's not just.
It is not the ideal physique.
These stories trying to push the
Can you
this
scroll down by the way a
narrative,
little bit?
trying to push this narrative that everyone's beautiful, I think is insulting to women in a sense because, there's the American Beauty one. Because it says that beauty is only in the skinness of like the nude image of a woman. Like that's where the beauty lies.
Very sophisticated of you, Mike.
No, seriously.
I know.
They keep doing this though. They keep traipsing out a bunch of fat chicks and trying to shove this narrative like everybody's beautiful.
It's
like,
a self-confidence issue. They want to make sure that people are confident in themselves.
But do you think that's the safe way to go, to take a 400-pound woman? Yeah. To take a 400-pound woman and celebrate her beauty? She could be the most gorgeous woman on the inside, but that's a mess health-wise. It is.
That was E's point.
I know. Look at that.
Oh, my God. Look at the one on the left.
I think that's a man. I think that's a tranny man.
Yeah. Look at the hip. Like, where'd the hips go, man?
I don't know.
That's a strange shape to me.
That's a dude. I'm telling you, that's a guy.
This is a guy. You're right. Dude, it's not a girl, but there's going to be issues down the line with this.
There's issues now.
Down the line.
Do you think that she's going
down which line?
Big issues. Big issues.
Isn't it funny that the biggest ones actually look like they're wearing some sort of bikini because there's the fat lines that.
Well, they had to put 4,000 petals on it to cover it up.
So what's wrong with that chick, Mike?
Well, she's not a C cup.
Say
maybe an A minus.
34C.
No.
Oh, wait, go back
to the first one.
Go back real fast.
Are you seriously like? What's wrong with the first girl with the red hair?
Nothing.
The stupid tattoo. I could argue.
Which one?
Oh, she's got like the band around her arm.
That stupid tattoo.
No, there's nothing wrong with her. She's
so fine. Why is she in this? I thought there was a bunch of.
Well, I think they're showing
ugly chicks.
That's a very good point. That's a very valid point.
How'd her card get mixed in there?
Would that be insulting if you got called to the ugly chick photo shoot and you were that girl?
No, it wouldn't be because you're all beautiful.
No, it's like I think E's brought it up before. Like, you get called to this casting call and they want like a fat, retarded chick or something.
Or we're looking for a 9-year-old man. I mean,
by the way, what's up with your sitcom, man?
I did finally text one of the people about it.
Is this happening?
Yeah, pretty much that's what I said. And they said that I don't know, one of the guys is busy, but they still said it looks like second week of August is when I should be getting the script.
Okay, cool. So I'm sure people were wondering.
Second week of August, you get the script?
Yeah. So it's going a little late. I have to say, I got to the point, I'm so pessimistic that they told me like it'd be 2 weeks and then we hit 3. And I just already had assumed that it was done. I just in my mind assumed it was all over with. So sounds like it is still going.
Good.
I don't know. I just don't see these photo shoots as all that empowering.
Yeah.
I think it's pushing a. I don't know. I think it's pushing a stupid narrative, but they're gonna keep doing it. We'll keep seeing the stories.
Speaking of chicks,
until we all just agree, right? That's the deal. Until we all just agree.
Until we all accept everybody is beautiful. Krista Jelski, are you thinking about buying or selling a home but aren't sure where to begin? Krista Jelski of Remax Suburban is more than happy to help. Set up an appointment with Krista and she will simplify the process even enough for Big E to understand. Check out Krista's website at kristasellshouses.com or call her anytime at 586-918-0900. Speaking of Krista, got an email about her.
Oh, nice. Someone call her at 3 a.m?
No, but it's like, here we go from Raquel. Hey guys, just wanted to share a short blurb with you. I work at a mortgage company and I got a file in that in that the listing agent is, you got it, Krista Jelski. I couldn't help but giggle out loud at my desk and wonder if the sellers threw a Jelski yet. Glad to hear you guys survived your jump and lived on to entertain me for many more episodes to come. Thanks again for the awesome show. Smiley face.
Yeah, no winky face.
Let me look close. No, it's just a smiley.
Okay. I mentioned butt dialing earlier, something I think everybody can relate to. My mom has actually done that twice this week.
Yeah, boy.
Where my phone rings and I pick it up and I'm like, hello, and you just hear like
just sex talk with Bob.
Right, just
Yeah.
banging, just going to town on
nothing going on, just it's sitting there. The phone's just sitting there for some reason.
or some hot, maybe
Some
anal
hot-
action.
Hot Bob and Pat action.
Hot anal action. Nice.
Why'd you take it to that level like
Because-
so soon? We're supposed to build up
Oh,
to it.
sorry.
We're
Yeah,
supposed to
have
like
you-
envision Bob swooping in on a sex
Oh.
swing.
Have you learned nothing from us, E?
Sorry.
You know how this goes.
Like-
we set you up with the whole Nana's birthday
Like
thing. Next
Pat,
thing you know, you're
Pat
peeling her face
presenting.
off.
Pat's presenting in the corner. Bob swoops in on his pulley system. Bam! Right into her.
Sorry, you're right. I just went for the gusto right away, I suppose.
Yeah, geez, man.
You build, and before you know it, Jay's peeling off your Nana's
what? I don't
face
have-
with a spray gun. I mean,
don't
that's how that goes.
I don't have the stamina like you guys do. I just go right to the right to the
You just go to the finish.
right to the
Yeah.
grand
Yeah,
finale.
Bob's fucking her up the butt. Right, Mike? Ah, geez.
Ah,
E.
Oh, inappropriate.
Gotta saunter into these things.
Sorry.
A federal court of appeals in Cincinnati ruled yesterday that a person who accidentally calls someone while having a conversation with a third party
Oh no.
does not have a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Privacy.
Yes.
Privacy. Nice.
Judge Danny Boggs wrote in his opinion that a person who receives a pocket dial call does not violate privacy laws by recording the inadvertently overheard conversation.
What a strange set of facts, right?
Yeah.
You read this thing and it's like, oh my God, you know, what they were talking about and what it led to. It just seems like not going to be a ton of lawsuits that are going to be looking at this precedent.
Right. How
Yeah,
often
I
could
mean-
it? It's what
Yeah.
a narrow situation
Yeah.
that would be. That you're making a butt dial, and that the dial ends up having to be between a conversation that happens to be.
I've had that happen though,
That it
Have you?
leads to something like really.
where I'm listening to a conversation that I probably shouldn't be listening to.
Really?
Yep.
No, you're probably right. But this one was like, what about the guy was talking about firing the woman's boss. So the woman who's listening is going, oh my God, they're talking about my boss.
Yeah. And these are like CEO level. He was out of the country. He asked out her for like 90 minutes.
Ah, boy.
So he's talking to this other guy. He's at some conference in Italy, and he's like a CEO of an airplane company or something. And he's talking about shit canning this chick's boss, who's this woman. And these guys are having some cocktails and they're just going off for 91 minutes.
Oh, geez.
He ends up leaving the party, goes back to the room with his wife, has another conversation, and she's still listening and recording.
Oh, boy.
And then, so this guy
Is he
wanted
saying things like, that slut,
I don't know. They don't go into too much detail about that, but let's see. Ms. Spa said hello into the phone multiple times to draw his attention, but he didn't hear it and continued talking to this guy. After listening in for about a minute and a half, she realized they were discussing possibly terminating her boss and began taking notes. And then she got someone else's phone and started recording it.
And she thought it was like a whistleblower situation, right? Isn't that the deal where she thought they were doing something out of bounds?
Yeah.
And so
Well-
she kind of explained it like, well, I was going to take these notes and record it to kind of have it to report to somebody. 'Cause
Yeah.
They're in the middle of wrongdoing.
She thought it was a discussion to discriminate unlawfully against this McGraw woman and felt it was her responsibility to record the conversation. It wasn't until an hour and a half later that this James Huff guy realized he'd accidentally called her and finally ended the call. So anyways, yeah, talking to his wife, all that stuff. Kentucky, where this happened, is one of 39 states where you only need the one-party consent, which is scary. And there's a handful of states you need two-party consent. So I can't call, you can hear, but I couldn't call Jay, record it, because I'm giving one-party consent. So it gets into a weird thing because this conversation wasn't meant for her. So the argument is, and he was trying to get her up on wiretapping charges. And because he's going, I didn't consent this. The person I was talking to didn't consent this. This is a third party getting in this conversation. So you couldn't have the consent needed. And the judge is saying, well, it's easy enough to make sure your phone doesn't ask dial someone. There's apps that prevent that. As E pointed out, there's a code on a lot of phones
Right.
nowadays. So it's easily preventable. So it's your fault, basically.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. In his ruling, the judge argued the moment he hit the send button on his phone, albeit unintentionally, he gave up his right to privacy. You want to see what the judge said there?
Because James Huff placed the pocket dial call to Spore, he exposed his statements to her and therefore failed to exhibit an expectation of privacy with respect to those statements. Exposure need not be deliberate and instead can be the inadvertent product of neglect. Order! The crown is spoken!
Oh, no.
The Goocher. That was a Goocher.
That's a Goocher. Pick up that My Little Pony proofs.
I gotta put her somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, right on my computer.
Why would the crown need to speak in that manner? It doesn't seem like there was much.
There was outrage in the court.
There was. I had to
to
create
like
order in my court.
Huff argued that what was at stake here is the cell phone user's right to privacy, but the judge pointed out that people have many security features and blah, 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 and so it's his fault. Tough shit. Yeah, that's scary when you realize that. Oh, my God. Oh, no. It's a shitty place to be.
It is a lot of fun to get one, though.
Yeah.
How much did they hear of this?
91 minutes, and then you go back and you're just like, oh, my God, what have I been talking about?
Yeah,
you realize
try to rewind.
We've been talking about shit canning this broad, and it was her assistant that I dialed accidentally.
She wouldn't have continued listening, would she? She would have like put it aside, hung up, something.
Yeah, clearly she did. Brutal. E, if we could get you a house in Texas for free, would you take it?
Not from what it sounds like this house would be.
Full of serpents.
Those are dude. The serpent goes back to the freaking Garden of Eden. So you know what I mean, Jay? Right?
You draw your disdain for snakes back to the garden,
right? Because of my sin and all that shit. I'm just kidding.
What if I say I don't mind snakes?
I'm just kidding, dude. I fucking hate snakes for other reasons, dude.
Well, this woman is scared to leave her house because her property is overrun with copperhead snakes.
Dude, we had one of these a few months ago. Remember? Where they were like ripping up walls and stuff, and the snakes were inside the walls.
Oh my God.
And it was
copperheads are poisonous, right? They're
I believe
deadly
so.
snakes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
If one got in the house or in the cars, I would have to move. I really would. She said her husband killed 30 snakes last weekend.
Oh my God.
30 copperhead snakes last week.
Damn it.
Oh my God.
They've been battling a snake problem ever since they moved into their home 2 years ago. I nearly stepped on it, and then I just ran and waited for my husband to come outside and kill them. The snakes are most active at night, so she keeps a rifle with her when going outside.
God, he squeals like a little girl. He gets like all
know.
tense. He does this little thing.
She called some guy that specializes in nuisance control.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, but he said once they start taking over, they'll take over. There can be quite a few of them. Despite so many of them, copperheads are great at hiding during the day, and they run wild as soon as the sun goes down.
What would you rather have?
Look at them. Look at those
snakes?
eyes.
No, I won't look.
No, they're dead. They can't hurt you.
I don't care.
They're dead. They're hanging on the line.
Oh my God. I don't care.
Snakes or bats?
Bats in a million times over.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the question?
Like infestation in your house.
Bats.
Snakes or bats?
Bats.
Yeah.
Bats.
Although it's creepy, man, when they fly around and flutter around. And
Tennis racket. Solved.
There you go, dude.
No big
you know what?
deal.
I know a guy who had a bat infestation in his fireplace up at a cottage, and they figured out, all right, they're back in this chimney area, and so they lit a fire, and they closed off this room, and they sat there with tennis rackets, and they came out and thwap.
Really?
And he said we got so good at it where we were just hitting them just enough so we'd hit it into the wall and it wouldn't splatter, but it would kill them.
Really?
That's how many that were just flooding out of this thing.
Wow.
Ugh.
I've come home drunk from the bar 3 different times now. I think we got it solved now. We put in some wire like in the eaves or whatever. But like 3 different times where I come home, my dad's just sitting in the kitchen table like, there's a bat in the house.
Oh shit.
I don't know how it got here. It's your problem. I'm going to bed.
Oh, that sucks. Dude, I knew a guy up at State who was living in a house and had a bat problem. He said they had like a drop ceiling in his bathroom. He got out of the shower one day. He's like drying his hair. He looks up and this son of a bitch is hanging out of the drop ceiling, just staring at him. Freaked
Oh
him
my
out.
God.
So, dude, the rest of the year, he pitched a tent in his room and slept in a tent.
Really?
Slept in a tent,
Wow.
zipped it up and everything, just
Yeah.
freaked out.
Oh, that would freak me out too. Wow. That's brutal. Ugh. I've never had one in the house that I'm aware of.
No, my parents did, and one of them suspected that they were bitten, and so they both went through all these rabies.
Really?
shots. Yeah.
No way.
This is a couple of years
How do you
ago.
suspect your bit?
I
You're
don't
not
know.
sure?
One of they probably
about the
paranoid.
Dracula?
Like, whoa, I do have this strange mark on my arm.
Yeah.
What about, were they worried about the Dracula situation or at all?
I don't think so. I think they were worried about rabies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No. I mean, that's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
What?
Becoming like
Vampire.
a vampire.
Yeah.
If the bat bites you, you become a vampire too.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I'm just saying it's a real concern in my mind.
Before we get to some email, I wanted to mention we got the transgender community. Big fans here of the transgender community. And the family of a transgender woman named India Clark are in mourning after police say she was found apparently beaten to death in Tampa.
She or he?
She.
Right. Does it?
Dude turned into a chick?
Yes,
Is that the
sir.
deal? All right.
It's believed to be the 10th trans woman murdered in the U.S. this year. The majority of women were trans women of color.
Would you?
I don't forget. Was she a guy first? I forget still already.
Don't worry about that.
No, I will worry about it. Was she a girl or a guy originally?
Look at her now,
She,
Figure it out. Okay, we're looking at an image of what appears to be a female.
Yes.
Was she a guy or a female before? This is a post-transformation
I honestly
image.
can't tell, but
All
I know
right,
you
the
guys.
story is it was a dude who's turning into
then
a
no.
chick.
Then no.
No?
She'd have to be a girl that had turned into a guy because I would assume that at least the vagine was normal still.
Oh my god.
That might be a good situation, actually.
The NCAVP. You familiar with the NCAVP?
No. They have a great tournament in March, though.
They do. I think that's the National Caucus for the Advancement of Vaginal Penises. I'm pretty sure that's what
Vaginal.
I'm pretty sure that's what that is. The
It's
NC
vaginal, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
come
misspoke.
on. That's
Vaginal
sorry.
penises.
Ridiculous.
I feel ridiculous. They work to prevent and respond to LGBTQRS and HIV affected
Elemento.
violence. She was discovered with was discovered with obvious signs of homicidal violence to the upper body, found next to the basketball courts. They're investigating it as a homicide. They're waiting for a completion of an autopsy. Of course, the family's devastated and blah, blah, blah. She told her family a couple of years ago that she was a tranny, and they were bummed at first, but then they accepted it. Her death is being mourned nationwide, and the transgender community is outraged because when they identified her, they said the police said that she was a woman or a man wearing women's clothing.
That's got to be that's got to be the worst.
I mean,
sort of Halloweenish.
Can you blame the cops? They're like, oh, we found a dead man wearing women's clothing. I mean, I don't think there's anything meant to be a dick about.
There's a cock and balls here.
Yeah, we've got a cock and balls and we've got a dress on it. So we found a man with women's clothing on. Does anyone know anything about this?
They're just going by the evidence.
Yeah, they're using facts. What a ridiculous notion. These stories pop up and it's there's so many people that will go, oh my God, another trans person beaten to death because they're a trans person.
Well, hold on. I admittedly was not listening as closely as I should. But was there evidence that it was because he was a tranny? Did I miss that?
No, they don't know.
Carved in her arm or something, his arm, or a sign left or something.
Yeah, no.
People get into conflicts and bad things happen sometimes.
Right.
I just want to understand: was there some evidence of tranny animus?
I don't think so. They haven't found it yet. Trananimus. They haven't.
Tyrannosaurus animus.
But it's good for the story if you can say that for sure, just like what's her name was murdered in jail.
Yeah.
If you can just say, oh, trans woman dead, had to have been
hate crime.
Hate crime. Yeah. Unfortunately, for a lot of these people, there's this cute game that goes on where
prostitution.
That that looks like a girl at first glance. That looks like a woman.
Yeah,
And
some people get pissed when it's not.
yeah.
Mm.
And that's a real problem because I don't know, man. If I started hooking up with some chick at the bar,
Seems like the ultimate bait and switch, doesn't it?
yeah. And
I mean,
you
there's
could see,
a part of the population like E that wouldn't give a fuck.
yeah, it'd be like, wow,
"Sweet."
what a bonus.
Yeah,
Who knew?
I thought I was going to have to deal with a vagine.
Vagines are gross. Let's jack each other off. You know, yeah, you're right. But there's another part of the population that might be absolutely horrified at
Yeah.
that. And
feel a little bit taken.
yeah, as you said, a bait and switch. And, you know, that can lead to some horrific beatdowns. I think, don't you think you owe that to someone that if
To be upfront, like, hey, you know I'm a tranny, right? I
Yeah.
just want to make sure.
but they don't see it that way. They identify themselves personally as a woman. I feel like a woman, but to someone on the outside who doesn't feel that way, they're going, dude, you have a dick and balls just like me.
Yeah,
You're not a woman, and this is fucked. I've been making out with you for 2 hours.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's a really weird place to be in, but I don't know. I would think for your own safety, it's in your best interest to let someone know.
Yeah,
And I'm not
so-
saying that necessarily happened in this case, but I know that happens in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I would say it's probably more likely that scenario. Well, who can say whether it's that scenario or that it's just a hate crime?
Yeah, and I could see that too.
Yeah,
I could totally see that. Although she looks pretty womanly.
and as fucking weird as I think it is, and I'm on record as saying that, I mean that's awful that somebody would lose their life. You know, you'd never
Couldn't agree more. And I would never
like want to go out and beat these people up. They're
Never.
different. Let's go beat them up.
never.
Fucking weird.
Never. I agree. What do we got for emails?
We do have
Jay?
some emails, Mike. Wolfie writes.
It's the
in.
weekend. We're almost done.
Whew. All right.
You can do this.
We got this. Wolfie writes in. Hello, lovers. I just got done hearing the jam session of your version of the Monkees.
Oh no.
Boy.
I want to
I forgot
apologize
about
for that. Yeah, I've tried.
For a second time there, I swore you had Neil Diamond and Paul Simon in studio, but after a few moments, I realized it was you guys. Now I'm not embarrassed to admit that I kind of I got a boner for a second. You sexy motherfuckers pulled that off flawlessly. I'm sure I'm not the only one that had to readjust his bits and pieces after hearing that. As always, I'll be coming back for more. On another note, every time you mention your TDC shirts, I can't help but think of TCG shirts and envision a picture of TCG on the front of a t-shirt. Warmest regards, Wolfie.
Thank you, Wolfie.
Can we get that done?
I mean, I suppose,
Your buddy TCG?
I suppose it's possible.
Will he license his likeness to us?
Oh, he probably
I bet that-
wouldn't. He'd probably be a
He-
fucking asshole
Yeah, I
about
can
it, right?
see him being an asshole about
Yeah. What are you going to pay me?
it. Right.
Well, he
exactly.
can sue us then. How about
Right.
that?
There you go.
Christina writes in, also on the Monkees situation. Hope this email finds you alive and well.
It did.
I just wanted to write in about your rendition of Daydream Believer. My 5-year-old daughter loves the Monkees. She tells me she's going to marry Peter Tork.
Good luck with it.
Why him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he? How old is he at this point?
Like 60 something,
Yeah.
70
That's,
something.
that's interesting that a 5-year-old be watching those reruns and,
Yeah.
you know, they don't
Could
care.
see
They
that.
just hear the music and
Yeah.
see the fun.
It's worked
The
for
70
five other generations. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't it work for a
Yeah.
sixth?
She's gonna marry this 73-year-old dude. Apparently.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice. Good for her though. You know, he's got a lot of money.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
I
not.
wouldn't assume that. Anyway, since you did it during a less swearing email segment, I was able to play it for her. She loved it. Just thought you should know. Little 5-year-old listening to us.
Get him on board early.
assholes
That's good. Good
sing.
move.
Keep up the great work. Love you guys. Winky face. Oh, I'm sorry. That was just a smiley face.
All right.
I
take it.
overreacted. And then P.S. I think the Biggie character should live for what it's worth.
I didn't even know that was
Not
still
much.
going. Is that still going on?
One
I didn't
person's
realize-
opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't
doesn't
realize.
mean much.
I didn't realize the votes were still coming in on that.
Anonymous
They are.
writes in. Anonymous writes in. Police traffic stops typical lawyer position is the subject line.
Uh-oh.
I'd
Ooh.
prefer you not use my name to protect my identity. I love the show, but Jay's continual contention that certain traffic stops are bullshit just infuriates me.
Ooh.
Every day I listen to
don't-
people.
All right. Go ahead.
Every day I listen to people who want to justify or excuse their behavior that is so clearly wrong. Yeah, I parked in a handicapped spot, but I was only there for 5 minutes and there was a spot open right next to where I parked. Or this bullshit, you stopped me for not signaling. There was no one even around me. Until one day a retard, I mean an actual retard, not an E-type person, is riding their bike in the thoroughfare, going ahead with their day, and get splattered on the road by a car who doesn't signal. True story. When is a law worth enforcing? When should a cop do his job, and when should he just be lazy and just watch the violation drive right by him? And then something tragic happens. Are you then the hypocrite who would be outraged and demand something should be done? I go back to the fact, where is this magical list of laws and violations that law enforcement should or should not enforce? Let me ask, if this situation was reversed, the cop walks up to the car smoking and the driver requests that the officer puts it out. Do you have the opinion that he shouldn't have to put it out? By the way, full disclosure, I work for a police department locally, and I hear these bullshit arguments every day. And most of the time, the officer is just trying to correct the bad behavior and move on and give the appearance that he's working. Very rarely do tickets get issued for these violations, but I can tell you that in my area where I live in southeastern Michigan, if you turn without a signal or roll through a stop sign, you will get stopped, and that is how it should be. If you, as the all-knowing Jay, think that a particular law is bullshit, rally the people to have it changed. But until then, you can't be surprised when people get stopped for things that are illegal, and everyone know they're illegal. Eric, you're excused from this conversation within your right to have your opinion, your buddy Jay's opinion, slash your opinion slash your buddy Jay's opinion. We all know you barely have enough brain cells to get through life in his parents' basement, let alone form a logical opinion. Jay, take a big long lick off that fecal matter stained stalk that you prefer be forced up your ass.
Such anger, man.
And take some days off. I simply preferred the show with Mike and Eric. Your pompous attitude only goes so far. Peace. Love the show. I have been a listener and supporter since the beginning. Anonymous.
I'm very confused because I can't even, apparently I don't even have the ability to form a sentence, but he likes it.
It's true.
Yeah, you're limping along through this sentence. And this is a great example. Exhibit A.
But he likes it better with me.
I thought that was a very well stated email. I have to agree. If you bullet pointed that, I would agree with almost everything he said there.
And a lot of really good words, good word choices.
Yeah.
Thoroughfare was good, and then there were a bunch where the context was off, the word was wrong. I really liked all those.
Yeah, I liked the all-knowing Jay.
Yeah,
which is
smugness.
I appreciate all-knowing. I'm bad at math, though.
Yeah,
you should know. So I think that's overstating a little bit.
I think your science skills are
science,
something to be desired as well.
No, the point on these, I think my point was, and if I didn't express it, maybe I did express it clearly, but my point was, dude, I think when people are getting stopped for this shit, it's really like they're a lot of times taking advantage. I shouldn't say a lot of times. 9 times out of 10, the cops are doing the right thing. 99 times out of 100, they are.
Yeah.
But human beings are human beings. And so if you're going to tell me that every cop is perfect and that nobody goes over the line when they make a stop sorry, there are bullshit reasons. Okay, I'm putting it in that category. Yes, the plain letter of the law says that it's a violation, but why doesn't the plain letter of the law then say that you should get a citation for every violation? Why are some of these being let go with a warning then?
Yeah,
but dude,
to change behavior.
Come on, here's the deal, man. I mean, people get pulled over, and sometimes the cop is just kind of fishing for shit. And I know that doesn't happen all the time, but it does sometimes. There's some asshole cops out there.
Mm-hmm.
There are. It's a fact. There's a lot of asshole lawyers too. There's asshole podcast heroes.
Mm-hmm.
There's assholes everywhere. So as long as we're using humans to do this shit can go awry.
Yeah,
that's the point.
Yeah,
I do
and honestly, like for somebody to like peg me as like anti-cop or something. Really, you've been listening since the beginning. You're a big supporter. You peg me as anti-cop. The fuck is that?
Yeah, that I
guess we can't say anything against a cop. There's one fucking story about Bland.
Yeah.
And I take a view that, you know what, I think this dude went overboard. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm all of a sudden pegged as anti-cop. Okay.
And this story in particular, usually it immediately ramps up and you see two sides and they square off. The same talking heads get on and fight, where law enforcement goes, bullshit, this is what happened. And then the other side goes, no, that's bullshit. Here's what happened. And they were assholes. No, they were assholes. And they fight. This story in particular, I'm seeing plenty of law enforcement people, white and black, going, no, this guy could have absolutely de-escalated this scene. And
well, apparently on this show, we're just supposed to suck the dick of law enforcement every time, no matter what the facts are.
I
apparently on that show or on this show.
No.
And dude, believe me, You guys do a job that I'm too big a pussy to do.
Yeah.
Okay. I respect what you do. I'm just saying there's some bad apples out there.
Yeah.
And there's some bad shit. And we've seen bad stories over the year
Yeah.
and a half that we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Do I think that's the majority? Hell no, dude. Small percentage. But I think humans are humans and people have egos.
Yeah.
And my point is, ego takes over sometimes. And
I think people like us that want to discuss stories like this, I think we run the risk of losing credibility if we can't possibly see fault in actions of others. So if we take the position that across the board every cop is totally innocent no matter what the case, I think it just makes us look bad. Just like we have that argument when we see these martyrs thrown up. And it's very easy to go, this is bullshit. This doesn't help your narrative. By all you need is white cop, black perp died. End of story. The circumstances around that don't matter. That's it. It was murder and the cop's an asshole. It's very easy for us to point and go, no, that's not just having those two people doesn't make this
right.
a murder or some conspiracy. Like, but at the same time, in order to bitch about them for that, we have to be able to say, oh no, I can see where people would have a problem with that. And I think that's all you said there. I don't think it was over the line at all. I didn't explain that well. Sorry. It's late.
Jim writes in, hey, guys, just listen to episode 378. You had Fruitcake on talking about Whitney Houston's daughter, Ian Halperin.
Yeah.
And at the end of the interview, he made a statement that John Wayne was gay. I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that whoa, is that true?
Well, if the Duke was alive, that weenus would have been picking up his teeth as well as pulling John's foot out of his ass if he were alive. As we know, it goes to your credibility. I thought you would have pressed him on the bullshit statement.
What?
If you have the lying fag on again, I'll change what I'm listening to for the rest of the day. Love the show otherwise.
Is he okay? You guys get on me about sarcasm. Is he being sarcastic here? That the deal?
I don't know.
I think he wanted us to press him on the John Wayne issue.
I wasn't familiar with the John Wayne issue, to be honest with you. When he said it, I took him at his word.
Isn't John Wayne gay? I've heard that before. That was not the first time I'd heard it. By far not the first time I heard it.
Yeah. I
thought you guys actually joked about it because he gave this name up, and I thought that was a name that everyone knew already.
Here's what I didn't like about that line of questioning. He was like, "Oh, there's so many." I go, "I'll throw you a little softball. Just name a couple that we wouldn't think of." And he,
there's so many I can't even recall one right now.
I was like, "Come on, dude."
I was surprised when he said, "Okay, I'll give you some." I didn't think he'd do that. If it's not public knowledge, you wouldn't think that you'd want to be outing people that don't want to be outed. But
hey, we're getting to the point now where it's not defamatory. Right? Everybody's cool with gayness and everybody's equal. So why is it defamatory to say that so-and-so is gay?
Yeah, because they've
got an image. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just real quick. I'm serious. I don't know.
But you see where it's going, right?
Oh yeah.
That could totally go down the line where you're like,
it will.
So what? I said you're gay. What's wrong with that?
You act like that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. He says he's not going to listen. Dude, I'm not kidding. Like, I thought everyone knew that John Wayne. I thought that's very prevalent now that it came out that John Wayne was gay.
I have heard that before.
I already thought that. I knew that.
I Mickey too.
It's all over the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy to kick a dead guy.
Yeah.
The Duke. Cameron writes in, the king, the cult leader, the retard, the Google machiner. I'm laughing my ass off at the Target outrage story over the trophy wife t-shirt. When I was unfianced, I lost my job. I remained unemployed until long after we were married. For the longest time, as I would meet my wife's friends and extended family, the question of what I did for a living always came up.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh my God.
I would
Mike,
use
you know what that's about.
Yeah.
I would use my best, isn't it obvious tone? Tell him, oh, I'm a trophy husband. Most people would laugh. Some looked very confused, and a few looked at me like I was a moron. I loved using this line so much that I started using it everywhere. I'm a trophy husband. Meeting at the bank, telephone surveys, and even with the customs officers while crossing the border to visit my friendly Michigan neighbors to the south. By the way, I gave a little shout out to our neighbors to the north today in that skydiving video.
You did.
I'm assuming I love our neighbors to the north.
I know. Not always you did.
It's just so funny how it all stemmed from one fucking remark.
One smug fucking dumbass remark.
Well, Mike wasn't even here for
I questioned whether Canada was a country, but
it happens. What are you gonna do?
People didn't take kindly to that.
But you've learned and you've grown since then.
Mike.
I counseled with religious leaders.
Right, exactly.
Right. You met with community leaders and
Did your counseling, did your community service. I assume you had some meetings with the people.
I visited our neighbors to the north, neighbors with an O-U-R.
Yes. Yep.
I'm assuming, says Cameron, the confused looks came from the fact that I'm a 5'10", heavy-set dude with a hairline that is starting to thin out. I wish I'd heard Jay's follow-up line, who doesn't love a big old trophy? I would have absolutely used that as a follow-up. I've since returned to the workforce and have made use of the Amazon link to purchase some new tools for the job. Thank you, sir. Thanks for all your hard work, gents. This show is always a priority in my day. Good day, sir. I said good day.
Very good.
Hey, we got to wish our buddy Jeff, another former lawyer, happy to say former lawyer, happy 40th birthday.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Happy birthday, Jeff. Amanda writes in, hello, recent skydivers and E who wasn't cool enough to get invited.
I know. Jesus. I got to sit there on the grass and watch you
His
guys.
mommy wouldn't let him anyways.
Yeah. Thursday's episode caused me to harken back to my days working in the theme park industry. Throughout my years at Michigan State, I worked as a ride operator at Cedar Point and saw more than a few instances of people with disabilities. In the case of the little girl with the prosthetic leg from yesterday's episode, manufacturers of water slides, rides, and roller coasters have guidelines relating to people with disabilities and their ability to ride safely. So the parks aren't being dicks, they're just covering their asses. Unfortunately, the parents of the little proops don't have a leg to stand on legally. Pun intended. Oh, and the ride you Fukfases were trying to remember was called Paddle Wheel Excursions. That's what your buddy's dad said the Native Americans were shooting at you.
Yeah.
Paddle Wheel Excursions. It got taken out a few years back to put something new in. I think it was right below like the Iron Dragon.
Maybe.
That crappy little pond or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, while thinking of the prosthetic legs, I remember one time while working on Power Tower, a lady nonchalantly took off her prosthetic leg and handed it to me. Dumbfounded, I stood there for a second with this heavy, sweaty leg. Then turned and put it in the loose article area. I told her to have a good ride. I also remember one time having to determine whether or not a woman with not one but two fidget arms could ride.
Oh no!
Wow, she met the rare two fidget arm woman.
I've heard
think
of
about
that, but I didn't.
That thing comes down. Is it? Yeah. Would you?
The Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah,
fidget.
I was going to say the Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah,
I was trying to think of the bird or the dinosaur.
Little alligator arms. And
they can't masturbate. They're very, very frustrated.
That would suck.
Trying like
that'd be
crazy.
the worst. Honestly, I think that would be the worst thing you could do to me.
Yeah, you'd have to have like ribs removed so you could roll off.
Something would have to be done.
Ugh.
Oh, and that one time that the girl lost her prosthetic eye on Millennium Force. Yeah, that happened too.
Holy
I'm always good for my AFR accidental fecal release stories and odd, sometimes unbelievable guest stories when I'm at a gel ski.
Nice.
Hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye for now. Winky face!
Dude, you know what's the most awkward when you're at Cedar
Signed,
Point?
the unfianced Amanda, a.k.a. Mandy.
Nice.
The most awkward thing when you're at one of those parks to me. Now, her story, she has probably who knows how many stories, but when someone tries to get on a ride and you know they look a little too big and you're just like, they're up there and they give them like the few tries and then they have to walk away.
Oh boy,
really?
Walk of shame.
They can't get the bar to click.
Totally, dude. I was in line for the Power Tower one time.
You know what? Maybe that's a wake up call, right?
I would hope
seriously.
No, but they're beautiful.
Everyone's beautiful, Jay.
I can't fit in things.
Yeah, but
amusement rides,
dude. Yeah. The one time, I
just needed to click once, just one click. One click on this bar.
Engage.
And you know they're sucking that shit in.
Yeah.
Give me one click. It's gonna go.
No,
it's gonna go.
It's not.
I was in one time where I was like next in line in the Power Tower, and
guys at the bottom.
Right, some trying to do it, and then eventually just
couldn't get that one click,
and then they have to walk away. And
damn it!
And they're like, one more, we got room.
Oh man, that's a
one more, preferably a tiny one. Let's go. We're in a hurry.
My mind is honestly, if it were me personally, if I thought I was anywhere close,
you wouldn't risk.
I'd either ask somebody, be like, "Hey, do you think?" Or there's no way I'm waiting in the line. And
any way that bar comes down across this shit,
right? Just like,
we got a no clicker.
One more room for. I always remember them going. They walked away. We got room for one more.
No, honestly, dude, that would be a huge wake up call for me.
Yeah,
you have something like that happen like publicly where you're like, wow, I just don't fit in something that's for all sizes, all sizes.
Yeah.
Scott writes in, and we'll close it here with just a final jump story. Mr. Detroit Cast and the one who identifies as thin. I was at the airport for work today and saw you two Fufases getting ready to go out on your plane.
Nice. Why didn't you say
Wow,
so?
yeah,
No,
wow, he was
dude.
at the airport and you couldn't say
Yeah,
that?
he totally should have said something.
For sure.
Jay looked like he was ready to shit his pants.
He was.
I can probably remember, right around that time frame. Yes,
Yeah.
I probably did look like that. And Mike was very chatty when I walked by, probably to take his mind off the crazy stunt he was about to partake in.
I was chatty. Are you sure? I didn't look like I was going to shit myself because Jay was chatting up the your tandem guy.
I'm guessing it was like after we walked out of that meeting room and just like immediately walked out on the tarmac. Maybe he was like
okay.
out in that area or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be.
Because that was starting to hit me then when I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, there's the plane. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I remember I was trying to get the GoPro out because we need to reset it. And like my hands were kind of like not working as well. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, can you help me? Yeah, that was weird. Big E was nowhere to be found. He must have been busy today. Yeah, so he must have been outside.
Must have been outside.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
he
'cause I
broke
was-
off from us when we went to
Right.
the.
Yeah.
You didn't go out to the plane at all, did you?
No.
Yeah.
Would have said, what up? But you guys were heading out. And I also didn't want to seem creepy.
No, dude, that would have been awesome if you would have come up and said hi.
Yeah.
Totally should have.
Glad everything went well with the jump. Would have been pretty bummed if I didn't get my freeze worth 5 days a week. Keep up the great work. Warmest of warm regards, Scott.
Very
So
nice,
he
Scott.
one upped Wolfie there with
Dick
the warmest
Scott,
of
not
warm
saying
regards.
hi. Yes.
Yeah.
You should have absolutely come said hi to us.
Yeah,
God,
or
yeah.
by, as
Right.
it were.
Yeah.
Right.
Could have been either.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, we'll save the rest for Monday.
Okay. Keep the email coming.
Yeah, keep the email coming. Please rate us on iTunes. A 5-star rating would be sweet if you find it in your heart.
Mhm.
Please use the Amazon link
And
It's
make
easy.
a comment too on the
Yes.
iTunes. That's big
iTunes
as
comment.
well.
Don't comment on Amazon. Just shop freely.
Yep. You've
Shop
earned it.
liberally.
You deserve it, right, E?
Yeah, you had a long week, I guess. I don't
Yep.
know. How do I know? How do I know you don't got shit? Maybe you fucking living on bridge cards, but you still deserve it.
Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a splurge weekend.
Yeah,
for
you know what? Even if you got fired this week, take yourself out. Make yourself feel a
Yeah.
little better about it. It'll be fine. You'll get a
And
new job. I'm
Get
sure.
out to the GRC, the Red Bull GRC.
You should do that for sure.
We're going to be out there at various times. All 5 of us,
Yeah.
including Kadog, Mickey, E, Mike, and I.
Yep.
And with various people. So yeah, come see us, see the race, have a good time.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and they're doing it up big for Detroit. They were supposed to be here last year with this race, and they weren't able to finalize it, put together. So they're really blowing it out and pulling out all the stops. So we're excited. The track looks awesome. The cars look awesome. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys out there this weekend. And yeah, with that, we'll call it a day. Call it a week actually, and we'll see you guys first thing Monday for an all new episode of the Detroit Cast.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.
Listen to God, watch